This presentation is going to be about Field Spaniel, Bengal Cats, Pygmy Goats, American Saddlebred Horse, Whip Scorpion, and the Red-tailed Hawk. The first up is going to be a Field Spaniel. And they came around in England in the 1800s. They're a cross between a Sussex Spaniel, English Springer, and a Cocker Spaniel. They were used to help catch prey. The prey that they caught were small animals and birds. And they used a technique that was called flushing out the game. Their history is that they were first classified by a job description and by their size instead of by their breed. And they were split into different groups known as comforters, which were the toy lapdogs of the time, land spaniels, which were working dogs, and then water spaniels, which were also working dogs. The smaller of the land spaniels were called Cocker Spaniels, and the larger ones became known as the Field Spaniels. And again, their job was to hunt small animals and birds. Okay. They didn't start to become classified by their breed until late into the 1800s, and that was when the dog shows started to become more popular. And they started to become really popular during that time too, because of their looks. But their popularity quickly went down because the way that they looked started to change, and people didn't like that. And because they thought it was it affected their health really badly. This one right here is what they originally looked like. And then they started to look like that one when the dog show started, because their bodies started to become like longer and lower to the ground. So they started to become unpopular because of the drastic change of their looks. Some of their health problems are hip dysplasia, hypothyroidism, entropion, heart defects, and epilepsy. There's some fun facts, but they're not fun facts for the Field Spaniels, because in the early 1900s, they started to become unpopular, and they almost became extinct. And World War I and II also played a part in their endangerment as well. But some good fun facts for them is that breeders throughout the 1900s, they tried to get the breed to look. They tried to breed the Field Spaniels to get back to their original looks, which they were successful in doing that, but they were not successful in bringing back their popularity. But they ended up being saved. The breed ended up being saved in the 1960s by some dedicated breeders who brought their 4 dogs and started breeding them. And then it said that today that the 4 dogs from the 1960s, that the Field Spaniels of today can trace their roots back to the Spaniels from the 1960s that helped save the breed. And then the dogs from the 1960s are right here in the pictures. I can't say their names because they're hard to say. But the Field Spaniel Society of America was created in 1978 to help protect the breed and educate people about them. Those are the pictures. Field Spaniels are family-friendly dogs. They're easy to train. They get along with other pets, and they love to have attention. They need a little bit of time to trust a stranger, but they can warm up to them. Males are about 18 inches tall. The females are about 17 inches tall. They live 12 to 13 years, and they weigh 35 to 50 pounds. The next up are the pygmy goats, and they're part of the caprine family. And they're ruminants, and ruminants have a 4-chamber stomach. Their history is that they came from the Cameroon. They came from the Cameroon dwarf goats from the Cameroon Valley and Cameroon, Africa. The British brought them to Europe in the 1800s during their colonization of Western Africa, and then after that they were imported from Europe to the United States. And in the United States, they were sent to zoos, research facilities, and to private owners. And then they became the pygmy goats of the U.S. They were originally bred for their meat and for milk production, which pygmy goats can produce a lot of milk. The Western dwarf goats came from Western Africa, and they were used as exotic animals in Germany and Sweden, and they were developed into the Dutch and pygmy goat breeds of Great Britain. Some of their health problems are obesity in the adults. That's common in adults. Coccidiosis, urinary calculi, which is like bladder stones, enterotoxemia, and pygmy goat myelofibrosis. And the enterotoxemia is a very deadly disease for them. It's caused by a drastic change in their diets, which would be when they eat a lot of sugar and a lot of protein and a lot of starch. That can be poisonous to pygmy goats, and it can cause neurological problems, and then they die usually within a few hours, and it's a painful death for them. Other health problems in goats are caprine, arthritis, encephalitis virus, mycoplasmosis, John's disease, sore mouth, pink eye, ringworm, and Calikias lymphadenitis. The does should weigh 53 to 75 pounds. The bucks are 60 to 86 pounds. They're 16 to 23 inches tall. They're very friendly, playful, and good family pets. Fun fact is that the Australian fun fact about pygmy goats is that the Australian pygmy goats, they came from frozen sperm and frozen embryos that were imported from the United States. Okay, the next up is Bengal cats, which is Felis bengalensis. They were created in the United States. They come from a wild Asian leopard cat, and that was bred with a domestic short-haired cat. They were accidentally created by a woman named Jean Mill, and what she did was, she used to own a wild Asian leopard cat, and she housed it with a domesticated short black hair cat, and she didn't realize that those two were going to mate, and then that created a Bengal cat. And at the same time, there's a doctor from Loyola University, and he was breeding them for an experiment, and that experiment was to see if a hybrid offspring would be immune to feline leukemia virus, because the wild Asian leopard cats were known to be immune to that, and he wanted to see how that would work out. Some health problems are distal neuropathy, flat-chested kitten syndrome, which is when kittens have a flat rib cage for the chest. Another problem is a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is when the heart muscle is too big. Patellar luxation, which is kneecap dislocation. The progressive retinal atrophy, and that leads to blindness. And they should weigh around 15 pounds. Fun fact is that in 1990, a British lady paid over $50,000 for a Bengal cat. The Bengals have to be at least 4 generations removed from their wild ancestor to be considered a Bengal cat, and they are playful, loving family pets. They're intelligent and need minimum care. Okay, the American saddlebred are warm-blooded. Their history is that their ancestors are thoroughbreds and Narragansett Pacers. They were brought to the colonies in 1706, and they were known as the American horse by the time that the American Revolution started, and they were bred to do work. The work was for pulling plows and pulling carriages, and to be used as riding horses. They should be 14 to 17 hands tall and weigh 800 to 1,200 pounds. They're people-friendly, intelligent, they have good temperaments, they're eager to please and to learn, and they have a good stamina. Let's see. Some fun facts is that a fun fact is that they are a favorite show horse. They served during the Civil War, and General Robert E. Lee used to ride on one into battle. After the Civil War, their owners put them into horse shows, and they stole the spotlight. And an American diplomat in France once wanted to give one to Marie Antoinette. She was a queen of France in the 1700s. Some health problems are inherited disorders, which are junctional epidermolysis, or lordosis, which is a swayed back, congenital cataracts, equine metabolic syndrome, which is they don't take to insulin very well. They're obese and they have laminitis, and a degenerative suspensory ligament dysmitis, which can lead to lameness, and that leads to euthanization a lot. And that's when the ligaments can't support the horse's body weight and their fetlock starts to drop. Let's see. The whip scorpion, they live in subtropical and tropical areas. They live under logs, rocks, wood. They live in woods and under other debris. They're part of the arachnid group. They can be good pets because they're only 0.98 millimeters to 85 millimeters long. They're not venomous. Instead, they spray out like a vinegar smell of acid, like smell when it feels threatened, and it's not poisonous. They eat insects like crickets and cockroaches and grasshoppers, that sort of stuff. They should never be held from their tails because that can hurt them and stuff. Let's see what else. A fun fact is that females can lay up to 35 eggs, and once they hatch, the babies will stay on the mother's back until they molt, which is when they shed their shell or whatever they have. The red-tailed hawks are I can't say these words. That's what they're a part of. Their classes and stuff. They have a broad wingspan of 43 to 56 inches. They have robust bodies. Their tail feathers are actually red. They are 17 to 22 inches tall. They weigh 1.5 to 3.3 pounds, and the adults have shorter tails and a broader wingspan than the younger red-tailed hawk. They can be found throughout all of North America. They can be found in parts of Alaska, Canada, other parts of the United States. They can be found in Mexico, the Bahamas, Panama, Nicaragua, and throughout the rest of Central America. Let's see. They're raptors, and they can eat and ingest through different food sources. They mostly eat mammals, which is estimated to be 68% of their diet. 17.5% are other birds, 7% reptiles and amphibians, and 3.2% are estimated to be invertebrates. And the fun fact is that two red-tailed hawks, they can live very close to each other in the same area and eat completely different food. Like, they have their own diet needs, I guess, each bird. they're not family friendly. Well, they're not domesticated birds. They're still completely wild, and they're in most parts of the country they're illegal to own. The human hawk interaction hasn't been very good because they like to eat like farmer crops and mess with the farmer livestock, and so the farmers don't like that, and they end up killing the red-tailed hawks over it. Even though it's illegal to do that. Okay, it's illegal to kill them because they're protected under federal and state law. They usually mate for life, and both the males and females will care for the the young babies. The male will usually go and hunt for the food and bring it back to the nest for them to eat. And that's it. Okay, so some student interaction questions are: what were the field spaniels bred to do? Where did the pygmy goats come from? And what part of the scorpion should you not hold? The answers are the field spaniels were bred to hunt. Pygmy goats came from Western Africa, and the tail for the scorpion.